Thank you, and thank you for coming in, Mr. Chairman. Well, we're two over here on this side now. I appreciate your testimony. Quickly, as I talk to a lot of folks who are studying what's happening in Greece, many of them will say it's a kind of a foregone conclusion that Greece is going to default. I know you're not going to say that. But as we look here, I think your testimony today is basically saying we don't have primary exposure to Greece or Italy, but we do have secondary exposure through the banking system. How great is that exposure?
Well, again, our banks have de minimis exposure to the sovereign debt of Portugal, Ireland, and Greece. They have quite modest exposure to the sovereign debt of Italy and Spain. They have much more substantial exposure to the banking systems of Italy, Spain, France, and of course, very substantial exposure to the economies, more broadly speaking. So the direct exposures to, say, Greece are quite small, but indirectly to the continent and more generally through the stability of the financial markets overall, of course, we have significant exposure. And
we see that, I think you've indicated it's pretty clear what the Europeans have to do to stave off this crisis. It's not an issue of do they know what to do, it's do they have the political will to actually step forward and do what's necessary. Do you think they're doing enough? Do you think they have the political will to get the job done?
I think they appreciate how much is at stake. I mean, it's not just short-term stability. It's the continuation of their common European project. It's the continuation of their common currency. So I think there's a very strong desire and will to achieve success here, but again, the process has been slowed by the political complexities.
Right, and I think it's analogous to what we see here. I mean, we have a situation in this country where we look out into the future and you go, yeah, listen, we're down the road going to have some serious issues with our debt, and we'll all sit around these tables and we have bipartisan discussions, but there's not a political will to get it done. And when we have our own conversations today about our debt, where we're sitting at $14.5 trillion, and it's pretty tough to get a political consensus to deal with it, do you think it gets more politically easier to deal with the debt when it's 10 years down the road and $25 trillion? I mean, the more debt we rack up, the more politically difficult it gets, doesn't it?
These are I have great sympathy for you. These are very, very difficult problems. They involve very fundamental questions of what the government should do and how big it should be. And I understand that there's an enormous amount of disagreement, and I hope that we'll be able to find common ground.
But looking at what we see in Greece, I mean, would you say it's fair that the alarm bells are going off with regard to American debt?
Well, that's two sides to that. On the one side, clearly, as Mr. Mulvaney pointed out, we've got a flight to quality coming into U.S. debt. I mean, as people seeing all kinds of problems in the global financial system, they're buying U.S. debt and driving yields of the U.S. debt down to very low levels. And that being said, I think everybody appreciates now that you can't run large deficits forever. I mean, we're seeing that in other countries. And in fact, S&P downgraded the U.S. Treasuries. So clearly, this is an issue that we have to address, and it's not something that can wait 10 years.
Okay, and I want to quickly pivot to Operation Twist. You are in the process of selling short-term Treasuries, $400 billion, and going to purchase long-term Treasuries. Are you doing a market value to market value, or are you going market value to par value?
It's going to be par to par, which means the market values are not going to exactly match.
So is this going to be a minor QE3 that's going to happen through these purchases?
It's possible that the value of the securities holdings may change, but be very small and not significant in terms of stimulative effect.
The last time we chatted, in a hearing over the summer, you had indicated you were considering QE3. Is that still on the table as one of your tools that you may use?
We never take anything off the table because we don't know where the economy is going to go. We can't forecast, what might happen in the future, but we have no immediate plans to do anything like that.
Okay, I'd yield back.
Thank you, Representative Duffy. Senator Lee.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Casey.